Livy was dumped by her boyfriend when she got pregnant. In order to find a father for the child, Livy's family has found a good man who lived in the countryside for her. Livy got on the train after saying goodbye to her family. She touched her belly that was about to get bigger day by day and thought about her future. A few months ago, she was an excellent student. Because of the baby, she had to get married in the countryside. She didn't have enough courage to start a new life, but her dad told her that everyone had to pay for their own mistakes. So she had to accept whatever her family told her to do. After passing a big field, Livy finally got to the man's house. The man, whose name was Ray, was introverted and shy, met a beautiful girl, Livy. He was too stressed out that he didn't know what to do, including pouring water for her. They were both shy at the first time of meeting each other. Then they greeted each other. Ray didn't believe that who could break up with a kind and beautiful girl like Livy. They celebrated a simply wedding. No fancy night parties and no wedding rings. After Ray dropped Livy off at his house, he said, "Welcome to our family." He has seen her as a family member, but she didn't get used to it yet, because she was still thinking of her ex-boyfriend. She even asked about her ex even when she called her family, but the response that she received was, "No idea." During the first meal at the new house, Livy asked a question, which has been in her mind for a long time. "Why do you marry me?" Ray replied, "Maybe because God wants to help you." He was really sincere, saying nothing more, as opposed to her smooth-tongued ex. The next day, Livy slept until noon, but Ray woke up early for work. He even wanted to take her to the library in town to borrow some books about pregnancy. When they were back, Livy was taught to ride the agri-motor. On the way, they have seen a lot of Japanese people plowing. He said they were from the American concentration camp. There were not enough farmers, so they came for help. They both then drove to a church. After people finished praying, the priest was sad, hoping that there would be no wars in the world. Every neighbor knew that Ray got married. His wife was from a beautiful bustling city, so they stood around her. Livy looked confused. She silently sent a letter to her ex-boyfriend. Livy has lived here for a while. Her new husband has treated her pretty well, although he knew that the baby was not his. Livy started getting used to living here. She learned how to cook even though the food wasn't really good. But Ray always complimented her, and then drank the whole glass of water. He honestly treated her well, knowing that she loved swimming. He tried his best to dig a hole and build a swimming pool for her. She didn't get it. Ray's sister told her that, "He's trying to make you happy." Livy didn't know how to thank him, so she just kept learning to cook, hoping that one day, she could make a nice dinner for him. She unintentionally made friends with two girls in the concentration camp, Florence and Rose. At that time, they were hiding in a wooden house and reading a book about butterfly. Three young girls quickly became friends. They shared their memories while studying at university. Livy felt regret and said that her major was archaeology. Hopefully, one day she could visit the Troya, the missing city. But she then lost every hope, so they understood how upset she was. To cheer her up, they suggested making a maternity dress for her. When leaving, Rose revealed a secret. She loved a prisoner in the concentration camp. Livy did not realize that there was still somebody in the world that sympathized with her. That person is Ray. He mentioned the Troya during dinner, but he was not fluent in using those specific words. Livy found it strange after listening to it, but she said she would help him. After getting home, Ray smiled with her, and thought that their relationship was getting better. So he was about to give her a kiss on her forehead, but she just moved away. After a while, her sister came to visit her. Looking at her sister living in an empty area, she wanted to bring Livy away. The sister even said she would like to take care of the baby, and wanted to bring Livy back to the city to come back to school. But Livy didn't want it. Although their marriage was not real, she didn't want to betray him. He was the best man that she has ever met anyways. The happy days just kept going. Livy found an ancient airplane in a shelter. There was a cannon gun inside. She was excited, telling Ray that they were all antiques. Perhaps they were left from Ray's ancestor. Everything was a mark of history. Looking at her exciting look, there was a smile in his eyes. However, he still thought that those things were trash, so he set them all on fire. This was the first time that Livy got mad. How could he throw away her favorite things? Ray was rushing to extinguish the flames to save the antiques. He left a piece of paper. "These antiques are yours. Be careful with the dirt on it." Everything he did was just to make her happy. Livy cleaned all the antiques and hung an old wooden skateboard on the wall. Ray found it funny, but she still helped her with it. The distance between both of them was getting closer and closer. Her belly was also getting bigger. They thought that they would have a happy future, but a letter almost destroyed their relationship. Ray, who was always gentle, then got mad at his wife. It turned out that her ex-boyfriend, who was also the father of the baby, sent her a letter. Livy looked at Ray kicking the dog outside. Then he took out the letter, which was sent by her ex-boyfriend. The letter said he was really glad that she found a dad for the baby. He always assumed that the baby wasn't his, and didn't want to take responsibility for it. When reading the letter, Ray got jealous. They were happy and enjoying each other. He was trying to treat her well, too. But why Livy was still thinking about the person who broke her heart. The next day, Livy woke up pretty early to cook a nice breakfast for Ray, but he had to go to work in the field. At that time, he was still mad and cold to her, but his voice was still gentle. Livy felt guilty. She thought that if she left, Ray wouldn't be in pain anymore. He couldn't either let her go or control his feelings. Ray raised her face and gave her a kiss. But then he found that he was being so rude. He turned around and said, "What do you like about me?" He wasn't confident enough and thought that he didn't deserve Livy. He's been trying to treat her well, but it didn't mean that he wanted her to love him, but helped her to live a better life. Livy couldn't understand what she really wanted. On Thanksgiving Day, Livy was about to leave in a few days. She said thank you to his family for treating her that well. Ray was just listening but not telling her anything. After getting home, Ray finally expressed his deepest feelings to her. He pulled Livy over and said, "I love you." He took a ring in his pocket out and sincerely hoped that Livy would stay. Simultaneously, Rose went and looked for Livy. She wanted Livy to meet her boyfriend and helped him to escape. Livy found something wrong with it after listening to it. If this man truly loves you, why would he leave you alone? Why would you help him to run away? You will probably be arrested for being a traitor. Livy came up with the idea of telling the boyfriend to change clothes and then drive away. After he left, Livy called the police and informed them that a prisoner has stolen her car and run away to the border. Eventually, the boyfriend got arrested. Livy was also about to give birth. She tried to suffer the pain, set the ex-boyfriend's clothes on fire, and even threw the necklace that she was given by him to the fire. At that time, Ray got back home. They both hug each other tightly. Welcome the little baby to the world. This movie has a happy ending. Livy didn't leave, the baby was born, and they both lived a happy life with Ray. The peaceful and simple happiness was shining in the lives. Somebody experienced a glorious love. Some experience an eternal love. Livy, who was always looking for love, was then becoming calm and relaxed. This man who loved her felt sorry for her and genuinely treated her kindly. During the war, he was the only one that made her feel safe and comfortable.